Today on Meet Your Body, we are going to talk about how to protect your peace. Hi, I'm Jessica Valant, a physical therapist and Pilates teacher, and I want to bring science-based knowledge, empathy, courage, support, love, and hopefully some fun to the journeys we have with our bodies. There is hope and strength in your body, and my goal is to help you find it. Hi. Thanks for being here. I'm so happy to be talking to you. I am sitting here at my desk, which is where I record. And I listen to some people. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and a few that I listen to talk about this beautiful space that they're in and looking out the window to nature and all of the things that they can do while they record. And just to give you a visual, I am in my office, which also serves as my filming space. It's luckily a pretty big office, but you've heard me talk about it probably. It is in the basement. Like, I am in the basement of our home. Our home is over 100 years old. The basement gets very cold. I don't do great with the cold, so I have numerous heaters. Like, we're still in the summer, so I don't have to use them yet, but the time is coming. I'm gonna have to use all the heaters. And because I'm in the basement, I have one very, very small window that just looks out to like our air conditioning unit outside, and it's at my back. So when I'm working, I don't even see the window. But I do love my office. I have it set up very much in my personality. I have pictures of my kids. I have a pot holder, one of them made me, and I have like a homemade picture frame, another one made me, and then behind me I have my bookcase with my very special books I love to read, and I have many throughout my life that have meant a lot to me. So I have a bookcase with very special curated books and pictures, and then my filming space behind me, which I just love and adore with the equipment. So I do love my office, but I am not looking out at any big, beautiful nature picture right now. I'm looking at the corner of my basement and my computer screen. But I do have my coffee with me, and I feel like I tell you that every time we're talking, mostly because I record in the morning, and I really just have a small cup in the morning and a small cup in the afternoon. You know, I love my coffee, but I don't have all that much, to be honest, but I do love it when I have it. And it just feels like a ritual to me, and I love to have it to sit and have like important conversations with people. I find that in the afternoon, a lot of times I'll have my afternoon coffee and have kind of a catch up with my husband. We'll both have one and sit. We both work from home, so a lot of times we can have just a little catch up in the afternoon before I go get the kids, and that's a really nice time just to talk. Or I'll have it in the afternoon on our front porch with the kids after I pick them up from school, and have a great kind of talk about their day and just look at nature out front. So there is something, it feels like a ritual to me to have conversation and to have coffee. So it's fun to do that with you. And today we're talking about protecting our peace, and what that means. And that might sound like kind of an interesting topic for Meet Your Body. We think a lot about our bodies as, I don't want to say scientific, but I definitely come at it from that place, right? Being a physical therapist, I mean, that's my background, is very biomechanical and anatomical, and, you know, all of those kind of things. How does this move? Where does this attach? And I kind of remember actually one of the first moments as a PT that it really hit me, and I had realization around what our emotions can do in the way that they're going to impact our body. So I had a client, this was a physical therapy client early in my career, who just was not getting better and was not improving whatsoever. And I finally had to say, hey, I don't think I can help you. I'm not helping you. And she went on her way, and I know she wasn't, you know, satisfied with the care that she had. I did everything I could, documented it. And then probably about a year later, she came back and she said, okay, I'm ready now. And what happened before was I wasn't ready. I was in a really bad emotional place. I was in a really bad relationship. I couldn't accept any kind of healing. There's no way I was going to get better. But now I'm back and I'm ready for it. And it hit me that our emotions and how we're doing internally, you know, mind and spirit, has a huge impact and can be just as important, if not sometimes more important, on what's going on in our bodies physically. And I have felt that myself tenfold over and over again. I can look back and say stress I've felt in my life has manifested itself physically, very much so. And you can listen to that in certain episodes. I have a previous episode we talk about stress and anxiety and how movement can help. And then I think 2 episodes before this, I tell you my own story about chronic stress and anxiety and how that manifested itself physically. So a lot of what we talk about and a lot of what I feel like my role is to help us all understand kind of that connection, that we really have to work on our mindset, the narrative we tell ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves, our self-beliefs. We have to work on that in order to see our true strength come out physically. And a part of that is this idea of protecting our peace. We live in what feels like a crazy and chaotic time. And I'm sure everyone has always said that. I'm sure generation after generation has said that out loud. So all I know is where I am right now. All I know is the generation I am in and the life I have lived. But I tell you, and I'm sure you can relate, the past, 6 years especially have felt especially crazy, and probably going back before that. But it just seems to be getting more and more chaotic, and I find it myself. It's harder to find that peace. It's harder to find that quiet. We have a 24-hour news cycle. We have social media. We're expected to work and take care of kids and be at home and look a certain way and have a certain opinion and be reactive and go to therapy and fix ourselves and our trauma. We're expected to do all of that. And it feels like so much. And I have heard some really interesting things over the past year or two about this idea of social media and this 24-hour news cycle, that we just weren't created and made for that. Like our brain, I'm talking from a level of our brain itself, was really created to bring in maybe a certain amount of information per day, right? And I can't tell you the exact stats on it, so I don't want to tell you the wrong number, but I want to say I heard something like maybe 35 pieces of information at a time, something that maybe you would get from your morning newspaper. Okay, remember back in the day? I remember growing up, we got the newspaper every single day. And we would sit and read it. I remember Sundays with my family, we would have donuts and we would all read the paper. And that was the news that we got. And it was international, but really about your community as well. And that is kind of what our brain was created to be able to take in, to process. And if you think about it now, we are getting thousands upon thousands upon thousands of pieces of information in a 24-hour day. Just think of your scrolling, scroll, pass. Think of the TV, like constantly commercial, now here, now it's important. Listen to this coming up right after this. You have to hear this. Like those things were created to pull us in. I won't dive into all of the science behind social media, but I tell you what, it knows how to keep us there, and it keeps us there through chaos and fear. It truly does. Like it knows what we're scrolling to look at. It knows its job, social media's job, even the news, its job is to keep us there watching. Okay? And it knows to keep us there watching, it's got to create something, and it's going to create some chaos and some fear and those kind of things. And that really is its job, which is a little bit scary because we're there all the time. And I know I have to be there for my job. I cannot say, I'm just going to take it off my phone. That's not realistic, at least for me. It's not realistic in my life. It's not realistic for raising my kids. I have to teach them about how to use it safely because I don't think it's going anywhere. So this idea that we're constantly being inundated with information that we weren't really made to be able to process. And then we're trying to live up to these standards that feel just higher and higher. To me, I feel like the bar is higher and higher all the time. We can easily feel like our peace has been left by the side of the road. I mean, it is gone and it's trampled on and it's hard to find. And I just thought that was kind of the way it was. This was me about, I would say, like 2 years ago. And it was in the middle, if you listen again to that episode about my own chronic stress and anxiety, I was in the middle of, we had just gone into lockdown. I was coming off of a big year of caretaking for my mother-in-law, coming off my hysterectomy, so many things. And I truly, in those first, really 6 months after lockdown happened, the only way I could describe how I felt was that I was in the white water of the ocean. And we lived in Hawaii for a long time and I surfed, so I kind of physically know that feeling of what happens when you get caught in the white water. Okay, you are caught in the break. And so all you can do is hold your breath underwater and hope eventually you pop back up. And you pop back up just in time to take another breath before another wave breaks down on you. And that's what I felt all the time, that I could just pop up to the surface long enough to take another breath before I was being pummeled by something else. And in the midst of that, again, I just thought that was the way we were living. I didn't really know another way. I didn't quite know how to get out of that feeling. And I remember reading something that someone wrote, someone who I respect, who I do follow on social media. So there's some good things. I found this there. But she wrote about intentionally making a goal of protecting her peace. And that really resonated with me. It kind of stopped me in my tracks because I don't think I knew that kind of verbiage around that idea, right? I knew that peace was important to me. Actually, my entire life, that word peace has been extremely important to me. I find myself latching onto it all the time. Like, I just want to feel at peace. I just want to feel at peace. I just want to feel peaceful. I want, these voices that tell me to do more. I want my worries to calm down. I just want to feel at peace. But I kind of saw it as maybe an abstract concept, or like a butterfly flying around, and it would kind of sit down quietly sometimes and I could kind of observe it. I'm like, oh, there's some peace. And then it would go away again. Like, it felt very unpredictable to me. But I hadn't thought of it in those two ways. That one, it was something concrete, like, oh, my peace. Not just peace out there, but my own peace. So that idea that it was concrete, and two, that I could do something to protect it, and that was okay. I don't think I'd ever been given permission or gave myself permission to feel peace, because I just thought it was my job to do everything for everyone else. And then it was my job to worry about it and try to fix it. Right? Like, that was my job. I didn't have a right to peace. I have lived a privileged life. I didn't feel like I had any right to peace. I just needed to be out there working, trying to fix things, trying to protect things, trying to react to things. I really kind of thought that was my role. And so it really stopped me in my tracks when she talked about protecting her own peace. And I've thought about it a lot since then. And in my journey to kind of help chronic stress, I have focused intentionally on this idea of how can I protect my own peace? And it's been such kind of an eye-opening thing. So I want to talk about it today because I feel like so many of us are in the same boat. I know I'm not alone in these thoughts or this journey whatsoever. So I thought we could talk a little bit about protecting our peace. Why is it important? What does it mean to protect our own peace? And then I'll share just a few kind of things that I have done along the way to help protect my own peace. So we already touched on why this might be important. We talked about the clear connection between our thoughts, our stress levels, and our actual health. So that is one thing. You absolutely have to find a way to control those stress levels in order to live a healthy life. That's just the way it is. Chronic stress can wreak havoc on our bodies. So that's one reason it's important. Another is, I believe we have a right to enjoy our life. We have a right to some joy, even in the midst of really hard things, which the world has just felt so hard, so heavy. And that's not even taking into account your own personal situation you're dealing with, which absolutely needs to be validated. Whatever you are going through, hard relationships, sickness, illness, fear, all of those things are absolutely valid feelings. And whatever kind of kernel of peace you can find absolutely should be protected, because you deserve to find some joy in this life. So what does it mean to protect your peace? First, I want to talk about, in my opinion, what it doesn't mean. I don't think it means pretending that everything's okay or putting your head in the sand. One, that's not realistic, again, in life. It's just not. And two, I don't think it's helpful, because it's not the way we all work, and it's not the way life works. There's something you probably have heard about called toxic positivity. That idea that, when you say something is wrong or you're hurting and someone comes back to you and says, everything works out for the best, it's all going to be fine, that didn't really happen. That idea that, and yes, that might be true. That is okay if you believe that. Okay, first I want to say, if you believe everything works out for the best, that is a great belief. Absolutely. I'm going to honor that. The problem comes when we hear that or we say that to people, trying to just push away the hard and the sadness, right? We just try to cover it up. We don't listen. We don't validate what that person's feeling, or we don't feel validated because someone's just not acknowledging, yeah, that's hard. Yeah, that sucks. I am so sorry that's happening to you. So I don't think protecting peace means just covering everything with a blanket of roses and puppies and flowers and saying everything's going to be fine. Nope. I think we look through the world with real eyes. We take off the rose-colored glasses sometimes, and we have to see the world as it is. All right. So that will continue to happen. Life still happens around us, and we still need to live within life. I also really believe that we do have a duty as human beings to try to do better, to try to be better, to help our fellow humans. So we can't necessarily just take ourselves out of life completely and live isolated to protect that peace, because I don't know if that's helpful either. So, and I know I'm kind of rambling here, but hopefully some of this makes sense. So to me, when I think of protecting my peace, yeah, a part of me just wants to go live on 100 acres somewhere far away and not deal with society or news or social media, turn my phone off, live off the grid, take my kids. Like there are times I'm like, yes, that sounds great, but that's not realistic. That's not going to happen. And again, I don't know if that's helpful when it comes to my role in society. I want to participate in positive change. So what does that look like to protect peace? If you can't go that route, this is what it looks like to me. Like when I visualize it, I visualize a box, okay? And it has a lock on it. And my peace is in that box. I'm going to put it in there. And it is protected. It means that it lives inside of me as the rest of life, possibly chaotic sometimes, swirls around it. But those chaotic, stressful things can't get in. They can't get in because that peace is protected. Okay, so it doesn't mean I can completely eliminate all of life and its chaos. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. But it means my peace inside of it is protected and that I can access it at any time. I can get into that box anytime I need to and access that peace. And it might mean that I just need to take a little of it for the day. Maybe I just need to take a breath and access it. Maybe it means I do need to take an entire day away and live in that box. And maybe I do need to pretend nothing else exists for a day, whatever it is. I have a box that's protected. It is my peace inside of it, and it's mine. Okay. And it really is deeper than this idea of, oh, I'm so annoyed that driver cut me off today. Oh, I'm so annoyed that happened and my coffee's not hot enough. Yes, those things, right? You need to access a little bit of your peace in those situations. Take a deep breath, move on. But really, when I say when I say protecting your peace, I mean it's a deeper peace. It's somewhere that you can go, and it's going to be different for all of us, okay? Because different things bring us all peace, I think. So you need to decide what goes in that box. You need to decide what peace feels like to you, what it looks like to you. Only you can decide that for yourself. But just know that you have a box that you can place your peace inside, that nothing else can touch, that you can access any time you need it. That's the kind of peace that we all need, that we all deserve, that we can protect so we can continue through in this life, and either whether it's feel your best, feel joyful, be the best you can for the people around you, simply live your life the way you deserve to live it. But that peace can really, really make a big difference once you learn how to protect it. And quickly, I want to touch on why we don't necessarily value this in our society, or why we don't do this, or why, I think back to that moment I read that person, when she wrote she wants to protect her peace, and it almost felt like a novel idea to me. And I think back and wonder why that felt novel. Why don't we necessarily value this, or why is it a concept we don't, kind of talk about? And I think there's a few things. One, I think there is a big pressure from society to do it all, handle it all. And whether that comes from outside society, whether it just comes from ourselves, what we think society values, what we think we need to be or do, or maybe you did come up in a situation in your family or in your life where you were forced from a young age to do it all, to be it all. You had to take over family responsibilities. It could absolutely be very concrete like that. And so that's one thing, that we feel a need to do it all, just handle it all. I got it. I'll take care of it. Another thing is this idea that we need to give everything we have away, right? That we don't, this idea of being a martyr. That's the only word that kind of comes to my mind is, nope, I'll just do it. I'll do it. I'll take care of it. I got to do it. I can't take anything for myself. I shouldn't do that. It's selfish. I have to give everything else away. And again, I don't know if that comes from society or where it comes, but there's definitely that idea. Another reason is just not knowing how, right? I want peace, but I have no idea how to get it. And I think a final piece, just to recognize these things, so maybe you can kind of, again, give them recognition and then move on from them, is the idea that, and I've been there, I've had to let go of certain things. One thing I have in mind is a big work kind of commitment I had. I had to finally let go of that because it was absolutely interfering with all the inner peace that I had. And it wasn't its fault. It wasn't the work issue's fault. It was on me. I just couldn't take anymore. I did not have the capacity for more work projects. But man, I wanted to do this one. I can do it. I got it. I committed to it. And I just finally had to admit, I don't have the capacity for that. I just can't. And it is eating away at every bit of peace that I have. And I felt like a failure. I absolutely did. And I would have kept pushing through because I do not want to feel like a failure, and I do not want to let people down. So I would have kept pushing through it, except I knew it was also taking away from my ability to take care of my family. So sometimes we have to kind of prioritize things and realize that it's okay to say no to certain things. You're not a failure. You're just setting boundaries for yourself. Okay, so realize that protecting your peace is absolutely important for you to be able to do everything else that you want to do in this life. So I'll talk to you a little bit about some of the ways that I personally try to protect my peace. But this too will be different for everyone. Just like you have to decide what your peace looks like, only you can decide what steps you need to take to protect that. For me, a big part of it is honestly a feeling. When this happened, when I read that, when I was in the midst of just kind of feeling all of that chronic stress, things like I would dread opening my email, dread it. And I talked to you about this already. I have to laugh about it. And it's still, I still can go to that place and get there. So I'm laughing at myself. But absolutely dread it. Feeling in the pit of my stomach, dread it. I would wake up like just to pee in the middle of the night, like a normal wake up. And I remember walking to the bathroom and like a thought about work would hit me. And again, I would I can't even explain it, but just this feeling like a grayness would just come down onto me when I was thinking about something totally normal, just a project I had to do. And all of that told me I was having huge overreactions to normal things. I mean, opening your email is a normal, unstressful thing to do. You click a button. No one can come through your screen, right? Nothing can happen physically. My family's safe. I was having an overreaction to a normal thing to do. Same with getting up to go to the bathroom. I was having very much an overreaction to that. And those things are what told me something's going on. Like I shouldn't live this way. I shouldn't feel this way. What happened to my hope? Where has that gone? So there are still times, yes, I get stressed to read an email, okay? But that should be a normal situation. Like maybe I'm waiting for an email to come in about kind of a stressful situation, right? I'm trying to resolve something that I don't have control over. We had something happen recently with customer service that we had paid for. I know it's really silly. This is a very small thing in life, but something we had paid for when it came to my mother-in-law, actually, and her passing away and her burial. And no one was calling me back. I mean, it was weeks and weeks of trying to figure out what was going on with this. So those emails would come in, and that makes sense for me to just feel a little bit of an uptick in my heart rate when that came in, because it was a situation that was stressful. But simply opening your email when you're not expecting anything like that shouldn't be a stressful situation. So that's some way I know. Another thing is I just wasn't taking joy in the things that I normally did. I wasn't getting really excited about certain things in the future. So for me, that's how I knew too many things were eating at my peace, that I wasn't finding peace. I needed to find it again and then protect it. So for me, those were the things that I was feeling. Other things you might notice are, shorter temper. You get angry more easily. You lose your patience more easily. Those kind of things. Again, you don't want to maybe plan for the future because you don't see any excitement about it. So certain things can kind of tell you that it's time to maybe protect your peace. So some ways that I found to do it is, one, you need to notice if there is anything specific that is taking away from your peace. So going back to this email thing, which again, it's kind of a silly thing, but it was very telling to me because I had to dive deep and I said, what is it about opening my emails? And when I kind of dove into it at the time, it was that I was kind of dreading people asking me to do things, which again, sounds funny. That's my job. My job is to do things for people. But I was dreading being asked to do more and more and more. And so then I had to dive into that. Say, well, it's their right to ask me because this is my job, but why is it bothering me so much? And it was because my plate was so full. I felt like I couldn't, when I really looked at it, I'm like, that's what it is. I feel like I'm not even doing a good job at anything. I'm not doing a good job at being a mom. I'm not doing a good job at any of it because my plate is so full. And so that told me I had to say no to some things. So by looking at where I was feeling that peace being taken away from, that helped me know what to do, which was set some boundaries for myself, say no to some things. Even if I felt bad, even if I felt like a failure, I had to say no to some things. And that opened up space in my peace box. It opened up some space to put in some peace. So for me, that was one thing, was I had to really look at, okay, what is causing me this strange kind of anxiety? And then look a little deeper. It's not just email. It's, that's what it is about the email. And it's because I just need to open up some space in my life. I need to say no to some things. So that's one way I did it, was starting to say no to some things. Another was reminding myself I'm not meant to carry it all. Okay, we feel like we need to carry everything. Everything we read, everything we hear, every problem in the entire world, we have to carry it. We're not meant to. We were not made to carry it all. So decide what is yours to carry and carry that. Another thing for me that helped was I had to stop scrolling. And again, this was me because I found that that was another thing increasing my anxiety. Scroll. And it wasn't, I can't say it's mindless. When people say mindless scrolling, I don't do that actually. I would rather sit and stare out the window or just watch my kids do Legos. I actually like to just stare at them doing those things. So I don't think I do it to just fill time like that. I do it feeling like, I don't think it's FOMO either. It's funny. I'm really thinking through this in live time with you now. It's more that I want people to know I'm there. I'm thinking about them. I'm present with them. Yes, this is a great post. Yes, you did good on this. Yes, awesome. I want to know what's going on in their lives so I can support them. I feel very invested. Okay, very, very invested. Even in people I don't know. So that's another issue I probably need to work through. But I feel very invested. And then I want to comment and I want to heart and I want to remember what they said so that next week I can be like, oh, how did that go for you? I remember you did that. Like I want to feel like I'm a part of it all. And I want them to know that I'm there for them. So when I scroll, it's like a very invested scrolling. And I want to read it and I'm going to listen to that video. And so it takes time, but it takes so much of my energy. Like it was taking so much emotional energy and emotional currency. And I realized I'm like, I am using all of this emotional currency here when there are other people in my world who need it more. Like a lot of these strangers don't need this. They have so many people to do that for them. They don't need me to do that for them. They don't even know who I am. But my kids need me to do that for them. And my husband, my amazing husband, who probably gets the least of me, he needs me to emotionally invest. And my friends, have I just texted my friends and called my friends and my parents? Do they know that I'm thinking about them? So that for me was a big one, realizing that I only have a certain amount of emotional currency. And I need to put it in the places that are the most important to me and can make the biggest difference. Because advocacy is really important to me. And I had to look at where I can be the most use in that way too. Like I can't, and it's humbling, but I can't make a difference everywhere. I'm not meant to, and I can't. I really can't. So where can I make the biggest difference in prioritizing those places? And that actually helped my peace a lot because it took away some of this other anxiety about trying to help everywhere, like trying to spread myself so thin and help everywhere, where instead I can take that and really invest it deeper in fewer places and probably make a bigger difference. So that was one way. And scrolling really led me to that realization. Walking, another way I protect my peace is walking. I get out, I walk a lot of times in silence, just knowing myself. Basically what that comes down to, I think, is fresh air. So being outside is huge for my peace, like 1,000-fold. Being outside is so important for my own peace and peace of mind, peace of body, always. Being outside, and also accepting and realizing I need a little alone time every day where I am not with people, but also I'm not filming or talking or anything. I am just completely alone for just a few minutes without any needs, without anyone needing anything from me, without me having to do anything. So walking serves all those things. So it's really important to me. And then kind of the final piece was prioritizing my own needs and realizing that's okay. It's okay to need to go on a walk every day. Like it's okay to need to be alone for 20 minutes every day. You know, I don't have to feel bad about that. I don't have to feel selfish about that. It's okay. And actually, maybe it's better. Like I think I'm better at other things if I give myself that time. And you might be saying, well, yeah, of course, that's obvious. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about my personality or how I was made that is not always easy for me. And I really do feel like I've failed if I need to do something for myself. but I'm working on it, and I think it's gotten a lot better. It's that idea of people pleasing that I talk about in previous episodes, and it's gotten a lot better. And also I want to illustrate that for my kids. I want to illustrate it for you, for my community, because I feel like I didn't have many people illustrating that for me. So I didn't know what it looked like to take care of yourself in a way that then let you take care of others. I feel like all I saw was either people doing everything for everyone else or people doing only things for themselves and never for anyone else. And so the idea that by taking care of yourself, you can actually then step in to do better for the people around you, that's a really interesting, important concept to me that I think more of us should demonstrate for those around us. Like, I want my daughter to see, yeah, I do stuff for myself. I need to. I got to fill my own bucket, and you're allowed to do that too, honey. Like, you're allowed to go fill your own bucket. I want you to do that. I absolutely do. And then also, yes, we do have a responsibility to our family and our community and your teacher, right? I mean, our kids, they demonstrate that. They have a responsibility to do their homework, to do projects, to do their chores at home. And also, they should know that it's absolutely okay then to fill their own buckets too. So I think both are really important. And then the final piece just to mention here is it is easier to maintain your peace if you are kind of bolstering other areas of your life, such as sleep, movement, staying hydrated. Like, I absolutely know when those things go down, it is so much harder for me to maintain any kind of peace. And then I'm going to scroll more, and then I'm going to get more stressed about my emails, and then I'm going to get more stressed about personal relationships. So again, that idea of making sure that your life, it's like shoring it up like you would a building, right? You want to make sure all of those basic things, the 2x4s and the footers and all those things that happen when you build a building, all those things on the foundation, you have to keep that foundation strong and secure so that then you can do all of this other stuff and keep that piece protected on top of it. So I feel like you probably just listened to me go through like a therapy session for myself, talking through some of that. And I appreciate you letting me do that. And I just hope that you come away with maybe a few tools that you can use for your own peace. Maybe just the realization that you deserve to protect your peace, that you can have that little box that you lock away that's just for you, that you can go to, that you can look at, that throughout the day you can remember and say, oh yeah, there it is. It's still there. My own peace is still right there, and I can access it anytime. Nothing else can get in. And you decide what that looks like and how that feels, but just know that it is yours to create. You deserve to have it, and you deserve to protect it. I'll talk to you again next time. Thank you so much for joining me today on Meet Your Body. If you have a moment, please consider rating and reviewing this podcast, as it helps us tremendously. For more resources and workouts, you can visit my website, jessicavalantpilates.com, or find me on YouTube or Instagram at Jessica Valant Pilates.